Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, the 20th of August. It's about noon. I'm back in Bangkok, as you can tell, and this is the first time I've been in the pool probably in more than a month. So we just came back from Laos 3 weeks ago, or this weekend, and we were there for 3 weeks. So I miss coming down to the pool on my quiet quitting days. Today I'm actually working from home. Because we have 2 appointments today. One we just had with the movers to come and give an estimate of what we need to take back, what will cost to ship things back to Laos overland. It was pretty quick. She said, I asked about how long does it take. They said, the size of the amount of stuff you have, a day, and just a couple days to get across the border, and then they will actually bring it to our house, which is really great because God checked with one of her friends who said they had to actually go to the border, negotiate the customs, reload the stuff onto another truck. So I'm not sure why they did it like that, but this company is going to take it from door to door, and it's a Japanese-based company. She couldn't give me an estimate right now, but she said probably within the next week. One of the things I asked her is customs. These are personal effects, so I have to pay taxes, and I would think that you wouldn't need to. They're personal items, because I want to actually buy a few things to add onto the truck. A recliner chair, a nice recliner chair, probably a desk, just things that I can get here a little cheaper, where the recliner chair is significantly cheaper, but probably better quality. And she said actually she had a customer that went back to Laos with less stuff than I have, and without any furniture. We have a sofa, and they ended up having to pay 20,000 baht in taxes, import taxes. And I'm like, for a personal item? She said, yeah, it was less than this. So there wasn't any sofa. It was probably the same without the sofa. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was all, I said, that's corruption, and yeah, it is. I'm not. I guess you could argue the stuff that I'd be buying to add to send, the extra stuff I'd be buying to add on to send back could possibly be taxed, but my personal items to import, she's Lao and I'm married to Lao, and we're not going to sell anything. So she's going to try and get an estimate for us for that. That really stinks. That kind of changes things now. Because if I do have to pay taxes, it's probably not worth buying anything extra new to send back. I just buy it there and now, make it simpler. The big one is I can get a desk that's pretty decent price. I can get a monitor, probably reasonably priced, and I could probably even smuggle a monitor in my suitcase if I want to. That will go unnoticed. It's just 32-inch monitor. But the recliner, that changes everything for the recliner, because the recliner I'm looking at right now is 27,800 baht, and in Laos for a lazy boy, for the one that the next level up that I would want, it would be 48,000. So that's 20,000 baht right there. More to pay in Laos. That's significant. And even more if I get the one I really want, which is 68,000. So it's almost double the price. So we have to wait to see what they say. And but it really stinks that we have to pay taxes, import taxes for personal items. We're just moving back. This is stuff we brought over time. The only thing we bought new here really is the couch and a couple old pieces of shelving units that are hardly worth paying taxes on. We bought them when we first got here. So anyway, that was the first appointment. The second appointment we have today, I'll give an update after this, is to meet with the pastor at the church where we're getting married, and the girl who's going to be a coordinator for us. So this is the first time we'll be meeting with her, and we'll be organizing. She will help us organize. I don't know what she's going to charge. My sister is actually a coordinator in the U.S., and she says, you could pay up to $3,000 for a coordinator, probably maybe even more. Hopefully it's not that much here. Hopefully we're not doing that much more here. So we'll be meeting. Well, we're pretty excited to get this moving and to have some vision of what this will look like and what's involved. I just paid for and booked the studio photos, so I gave in. I was really reluctant to do studio photos because it's outrageous. I mean, she's renting her wedding dress at probably one of the better boutiques in Bangkok. It's a gorgeous dress. So that was already double what I expected it to cost, and now she wants, and they have all this add-on stuff. So the studio photos, it's a 37,000 baht. So that's about $1,200 there. With it, they give you like 5 different theme photos, and they give you very high quality photos. They'll give you an album with photo prints in them, and they will also give you a large photo to have at the wedding, where you walk in, you see a picture, you can see a photo. I don't know if they do that in the US, but they do that here. They'll have a photo of the couple getting married just as you walk into the church. So, had some discussions with Da about it, kind of, it feels like it's more to me than I would want to do, but this is her fairy tale wedding. We already had that. We're already married, but this is fairy tale wedding side. So this is going to end up costing probably more than I had hoped, but it's a once in a lifetime thing. She's worth it. I think the biggest issue is not really spending the money, it's the cash flow, because all of this is a lot of money going out at once. So I need to manage the cash flow. I'll have the money coming in at the end of the year, but I just don't have it right now. So I have to manage that, and I don't want to dip into any of my investments. I do not want to do that. Those are untouchable until they're absolutely necessary. So anyway, we'll have that meeting this afternoon. We'll get a better idea of what that costs. So we booked the studio photos. That was 37,800 baht, including the VAT tax. The 35,000 plus VAT, so 37,000 something. So we booked that for later in the year. We need to do it at least a month before so they can have the photos ready for us for the wedding. And they'll probably add a few add-ons. They'll do her makeup for 500 or for 15,000 baht. That really sounds outrageous. And I'm like, why can't you just do your own? I don't want her to come in looking like a clown. I don't want her to, that's not who I married. I've seen her wear makeup, like earlier when we were dating, when we go to a wedding. We went to a wedding or two. We went to some event, and she put so much makeup on. I'm like, who are you? It was ridiculous. Fake colored eyes and eyelashes and tons of makeup. I'm like, you look like a clown. I didn't tell her this at the time, but I tell her it now. I'm like, I don't want to be standing in front of someone who looks like a clown. Just be natural. I want you to be natural. Well, apparently the pastor said that we do need to have a little, I have to have a little, like, some kind of makeup on, like foundation, so that when they do take photos during the service that I don't look like pale, totally pale. We want good quality, and that's fine. They'll probably put some on me when I go to the, but her, I don't want to look like a clown. I want her to look tamachat, like natural. And so I said, see if you can get one of the girls at the Mac Studios where an independent who can do it a lot cheaper and give you something that you look like the person I'm marrying, not something with a ton of makeup. I really hope she doesn't do that. So we're working on that. One of the things she said, the other thing, I booked it later in October because I said I want to lose some weight. I want to lose some weight anyway. I gained a little bit of weight over the past couple weeks, and I think it was because I only did bare minimum exercise, maybe walking 30 minutes a day. And I was eating a little bit of sugar I normally don't eat, only when I'm out and out of my norm. So I feel like I really gained a lot of weight, and I want to lose that. I want to have a chance to lose at least a couple kilos before the wedding pictures and before the wedding. And so I'll probably start fasting, do OMAD or 2MAD, OMAD, and then maybe a couple days water fasting, and starting in September, just to drop some of the weight. And I'm going to do that. That's going to be one of my priorities, objectives when I go back, when we retire. So that was that. Well, and then so I started this new exercising called Mad Muscles, and this morning's muscle workout was similar to what it was on Sunday. So it was the only thing, because I increased the intensity, it added a session on. So it took me about 20 minutes to complete it. It was the four exercises, and each exercise changed the amount of reps you need to do for every set. So the first round was, there are reps of 3, 6, 9, and 12, and then push-ups, sit-ups, oh my gosh, what do you call that? Squats, and what do you get? I don't know why when I do videos I start to forget what words are. I forget my vocabulary. Where you get down to a push-up and then you come back up and you jump up. I don't remember. It slipped my mind. I just saw it. So that was today. So it looks like there's a rotation of these workouts, a slight rotation. But I want to lose weight, and that was my workout today. And then I added some legs toward the end of the day. Because I'm working from home, I extended my workout to about an hour, and I added some treadmill in the end. So I did the Mad Muscles workout, and then I did my legs with some weights and squats, and then I did a 20-minute walk. One of the things that Da said to me yesterday, she ended up catching a video of me on YouTube. It's probably the first one she's seen. And she said, the sound isn't very good. And she says, you talk too fast. And sometimes you move the camera too much, too fast. And she said, you talk about too many things. And I was thinking about that, and I think she's right. I have noticed when I do take the video and then watch it, I'm moving too fast for the video, and it gets a little blurry. It could probably be a little dizzying for the viewer. So I do need to slow that down. I need to slow down my speaking. She's right about that. But she said the one thing she said, you're talking about too many things in one video. And I'm like, well, that's not, I thought about it at first, and I'm like, well, that's not really the point of these videos. This is a vlog. So this is a video log of things that are happening, things that, during my day, during my thoughts, my thought process, where I'm at on a daily basis until retirement. So it's going to be a bit scattered, so these videos are not, I'm not talking about one thing. I'm talking about multiple things that are on my mind, that are important enough for me to feel like I need to express them in this video so that I can process. And this does help me think through things, even though I'm putting them out and nobody really maybe if nobody's watching. I have had a few viewers. I don't know if people are cutting out. Is it boring enough? Maybe I'm rambling too much. But the process is for me to think through and talk about things that are happening on a daily basis. I'm not going into super depth unless I feel like it's something I do need to talk about or something that really, really interests me. But it's just to process all these things, get them out of my head, and they do help me make decisions. So if I was making a video about a specific subject, then I would talk about that specific subject, but that's not the point of these videos. It's a bit of a ramble, organized ramble, because I know what I want to think, I know what I want to speak about, I know what's happening in my life, and this is off the cuff. This is just flow. This is my natural flow of thoughts, and I guess if you don't like it, I can't apologize for it. But I think I found videos from other people where they do something similar, and I find it interesting. I like to see what's going on in people's lives and how they're processing things, and different things of interest. Like yesterday, I talked about my feet and my shoes for about 20 minutes. That'll probably be a chronicle in and of itself. I don't know. Does that interest anybody? So anyway, she was right about some things, and not right about that thing. So this is not one subject. These videos won't be one subject unless I make a specific video about a specific subject, like I have. So yeah, but it was good criticism. I'm glad she told me. And but she is right about moving the camera around and the sound. I said I need to get a microphone. If I'm going to continue with this, I need to get a microphone. Because I have noticed that some of the places it's very hard to get good sound. I think the sound is pretty good here. But anyway, I'm not going to do that until I'm getting started. I'm not going to put a lot of money into something. I'm not sure if I will continue with it. And I'll at least take it to the end of the year. I'll probably do it next year. I committed to at least a year to do this, to see if this is, if I keep the interest and if I want to continue, and if it is helpful. I mean, if people like the content, please give a like and a subscribe if this kind of thing interests you. But if you want to hear about anything specific, please add that to the comments. Anything. I'll talk about anything. I'm an introvert, but I'm not a closed book. That's the thing, I'm an introvert. I don't go out speaking easily to people and, just talking about stuff. I will only talk about stuff if they are interested. But if someone asks me a question, I'm an open book. I probably say too much. And this channel gives me an opportunity to just express myself without feeling uninhibited by people cutting me off or being rude or looking uninterested. So I mean, I guess if you're interested, you stay walking. If you're watching, if you're not interested, you don't. You stop. So I will probably end that there. I think that was the main things I wanted to talk about today. So I will be back. I have to go do some things tomorrow at work. I'll be in the office probably Thursday and maybe Friday if I have to. But staying away as much as possible. It was really sweet though. A couple of the girls came up to me and said welcome back, and it's funny, they're not the people in my department. No one in my department came to say hello or welcome back. I don't know if that's saying something or what, but the other people in other departments are coming to say hello, welcome back, and talk to me. So I don't know. This is one of those times. This is when it makes me feel like I'm ready to leave. Even going to the office. I'm sitting in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just can't wait to leave here. I really can't. I'm ready to leave. I can tell my mindset. I'm still doing the work. I'm still working hard, but I'm mentally ready to leave. And even if the money situation isn't great, I'm retiring on a modest budget. I'm just praying that it will work out. God will work it out. God will have a plan for me in there. And, I was just watching another video where this guy has some pretty good talks, and he tends to stay on one subject, which is really interesting. But he said multiple times, I said this before, your office colleagues are not your friends. They're not your friends. When you leave, you probably, unless you have a very unusual circumstance, relationships with someone, or you might meet up or something, there's a chance that you might meet them later outside in the world that could reconnect you in some way. The office, your colleagues are not your friends. They're not. When you're gone, I believe this. I've seen this even with my own experience. I am only in touch with a very few friends people that I worked with. Very, very few. There's only like 2 or 3 people that I'm regularly contacting with that I used to work with. I mean, all the other ones, even the people who I thought were the closest, I was so close with several people over the years. One of them in particular, we were BFFs, and I cannot believe that there's no communication at all. I've written to a couple of the people who I thought were exceptionally special to me, and they wrote back as if, yeah, good, thanks, and no engagement to continue the conversation. So I'm like, oh wow, I would be someone to try and keep that relationship sparked, and I'm usually the one that has to make the contact. There's a couple people, there's like 2 people I could think of that do reach out to me, 2 or 3, pretty regularly, like meaning a couple times a year, several times a year. But the ones who were absolutely really close with me, and I've reached out to them, it's clear they've moved on and have no interest in where I am, or even after all we went through, some of the situations we were in together, it just really baffles me. I guess they have their own lives, new networks and new relationships. So that's but I think most of that, that's just the exceptions for me. And I don't want to force something, but just to reiterate, when I'm gone, they'll probably blame me for stuff. That's what I've always seen. The person leaves, and then things go wrong, and things were not done right, or there's baggage or stuff that's problems that are not resolved, and the person leaves, and then that person becomes the scapegoat for just about everything that's wrong. And so that's what I'm probably expecting, because I've heard it everywhere I've gone. Staff will say, oh, they did this, and this. I didn't know what they did, and this and that. So I expect that to happen when I'm gone. I tried to prevent that. I don't want anything. I don't like to leave any loose ends, but there's always going to be some loose ends. And just accept it. You move on. And most of those people probably won't ever ask you anything when you're gone. And that's probably good. Time to move on and start a new chapter and new relationships and new network. There's a couple people I like, and I would stay in touch with them if they want to, but I'm not going to force anything. I think a lot of relationships are contextual. They're relative to your situation and your chapter in life. I think I'm going to end that there. I just rambled on another probably 5-10 minutes. So anyway, take care, everybody. I hope you have a good day. God bless you, and take it slow.